Welcome to today's Explainer. Today, we're tackling the distance learning hangover. You know that lingering skepticism left over from an earlier era of unregulated education? We're going to dive right in and uncover the real utility of a work-integrated learning program, or WILP MBA. Let's find out if these flexible formats actually hold their ground when you decide to take your academic journey even further. So, does a WILP MBA actually hold up for further study? It's a question that causes a ton of anxiety for working professionals, and honestly, often their parents too, when they're investing time and money into a non-traditional degree. You just want to know, is this a real degree that a future institution is actually going to respect 5 or 10 years down the line? Well, the short answer is yes, absolutely. But, and this is a big but, it comes with one absolutely critical condition. A WILP MBA holds up just as well as any other master's degree, provided the awarding institution carries proper verifiable accreditation. When graduates run into friction later on, it's almost always because the accreditation was never properly checked at enrollment, not because universities are just inherently suspicious of the work-integrated format. Here is our roadmap for today. First, we'll define what holding up actually means. Second, we'll look at the Academic Continuity Index. Third, we'll do a head-to-head program comparison. Fourth, we'll map out future pathways. And finally, we'll cover some actionable steps and look at the big picture. All right, part 1, defining what holding up really means. When we talk about a degree holding up, there are really 3 specific pillars we're looking at: eligibility, recognition, and preparedness. Eligibility is simply whether the degree technically qualifies you to apply. Recognition is whether the institution treats it as equivalent to a full-time degree. The really good news here? An accredited WILP MBA almost always satisfies eligibility and recognition automatically, thanks to regulatory backing. So that leaves just one variable. And that remaining variable is preparedness. This is all about whether your actual learning builds the specific, rigorous skills your next level of study is going to demand. And honestly, this depends entirely on you. It's the depth of your personal engagement with the coursework, the projects, and the electives that dictates if you are ready for advanced study, not the format the degree was delivered in. Moving right along to Section 2, the Academic Continuity Index. Think of this index as your personal checklist for evaluating any program. It consists of 4 specific checks. First, accreditation depth, meaning you have to ensure it covers the specific program and delivery mode, not just the school. Second, the documentation trail. Are you going to get detailed transcripts? Third, rigor equivalence. Does the syllabus actually match what a full-time MBA student is doing? And fourth, field relevance. Now this right here perfectly illustrates the paper trail rule. Admission committees and credential evaluators work strictly from detailed documentation. They don't care about an institution's general reputation. If you hand them a thin, consolidated mark sheet, you are going to create massive friction for yourself, even if your degree is perfectly legitimate. You absolutely need a detailed, course-wise breakdown with credit hours and grading scales to prove the integrity of what you've done. Because here is the reality. Admission committees are trained to evaluate the structural integrity of your degree. They look at transcripts, credit structures, and institutional accreditation. They literally do not evaluate the label of the delivery mode. Always remember, paperwork is kin. If your transcript is detailed and accredited, the delivery mode simply isn't going to be an issue.
Okay, Section 3. Let's do a head-to-head comparison.
When you actually stack these formats up against each other, an accredited WILP is completely on par with a full-time residential MBA when it comes to degree equivalence and PhD eligibility, and both provide those crucial detailed transcripts. Non-integrated distance MBAs, on the other hand, are a bit of a gamble. Their degree equivalence varies wildly depending on the accrediting body, and their transcripts often totally lack that mandated depth we just talked about. And here is a massive, often overlooked advantage. Unlike standard hands-off online learning, the WILP model actually bakes in sustained contact session interaction. This is huge. It allows you to build real relationships with your professors, the exact people who can provide the solid academic references you'll desperately need if you ever apply for a PhD. Which brings us nicely to Section 4, Pathways to Further Study. So, let's say you're targeting a PhD in India. Your accredited WILP easily checks off Step 1, which is master's eligibility. But the real hurdles are Steps 2 and 3, passing a national entrance test and successfully defending a research proposal. Doctoral panels weigh your applied knowledge and research aptitude way more heavily than how your prior degree was delivered to you. Or maybe you're looking at studying abroad. International universities rely on highly structured credential evaluation processes. They are looking for clear proof of accreditation, they want to verify grading systems, and they will rigorously assess detailed transcripts. A WILP MBA from a UGC-recognized institution is evaluated exactly the same as any other Indian master's degree. Just make sure you gather all those detailed syllabi while you're still actively enrolled. I want to give you a huge pro tip right here. You have to ensure your chosen WILP specialization actually connects to the direction of your next academic step. A generalist degree is great, sure, but if you want to pursue a technology research doctorate, having a finance-heavy MBA creates a real preparedness gap. You need to seek out research-oriented electives early on if you know a specialized master's or PhD is in your future.
Finally, Section 5, Actionable Steps and the Big Picture.
You can completely remove any future uncertainty by just doing 4 simple checks before you even enroll. First, confirm specific accreditation. Don't just rely on the institution's brand name. Second, verify that they will issue detailed course-wise transcripts. Third, compare the syllabus directly with a full-time MBA to guarantee the rigor is there. And fourth, proactively save your syllabi and faculty contacts. Literally, do not wait until graduation to do this.
We really need to zoom out and look at the macro trend here. Higher education globally is shifting toward modular, stackable credentials. A WILP MBA is absolutely not a compromise. It is a highly credible building block. Global institutions are actively formalizing bridge pathways, credit recognition for certifications, and advanced standing programs designed specifically to support graduates of accredited work-integrated programs. You're basically stepping into a totally future-proof system. And beyond all the paperwork, there's a massive soft skill advantage that nobody really talks about. Learning how to study, research, and execute high-level projects while working a demanding full-time job builds immense discipline. Later on, when you want to add global professional certifications or executive education, it becomes a natural, seamless continuation of your career because you've already mastered the art of parallel growth.
So as we wrap up today's explainer, I want to leave you with a question to chew on. Are you building your degree just to survive your current job, or are you actively structuring it for your next big academic leap? An accredited WILP MBA will absolutely hold up to scrutiny, but it is entirely up to you to engage with the rigor and preserve the documentation. Start planning for your lifelong academic journey right now. Thanks for hanging out with me today, and keep learning.